Humiliating fall in India. Kellyanne embarrasses her on live TV. By that conservative girl. Politics US News from AdWorldNews.com. Hillary Clinton is not having a good week. First, she took an embarrassing fall, even as she was supported by two of her handlers during her trip to India. Then Kellyanne Conway added insult to injury when she embarrassed the twice failed presidential candidate on live television. Talk about getting kicked while you're down. Hillary Clinton visited India this week, where she fell down a flight of stairs twice and blamed others for her election loss. All that red in the middle where Trump won. What the map doesn't show you is that I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's gross domestic product, she said. Well, yeah, look at her. Look at that clumsiness there. So I won in places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward. Yeah, Hillary added in a pathetic attempt to be irrelevant, even though she really had nothing left to offer the political conversation. Hillary also accused women who voted for Trump of doing so because they were told to do so by their husbands. We do not do well with white men, and we don't do well with married white women, she said. Oh, maybe because they're not desperate in need of money, like the people that you try to hold down to be on the welfare system, maybe. So this way you can get their votes without helping them anyway. So she added, and in part of that is an identification with the Republican Party and a sort of ongoing pressure to vote the way that your husband, your son, whoever believes you should. Hillary's insinuation that Trump voters are either uneducated or women without the ability to think for themselves did not sit well with Kellyanne Conway, who stopped by Fox News on Thursday morning to knock the former Secretary of State down a few pegs. Let me tell you something, lady. The idea that I or other women like me have to ask our husbands how to vote, it's really a joke, particularly since this country knows who you are first and foremost because of who you married, said Conway. Let's take a quick listen here because, you know, it's really something.
Kellyanne?
Oh, well, I'm sure that'll make its way into ads somewhere, somehow. You've got a Democratic Party really grappling with this guy in Pennsylvania who said he doesn't support the leader of the party, Nancy Pelosi. You've seen so many Democrats come out this week really so angry with Hillary Clinton. A lot of them privately rolling their eyes, many of them publicly saying she shouldn't say that. And she basically is, again, insulting half of the country, at least half of the country.
More than half.
And let me tell you something, lady. The idea that I or other women like me have to ask our husbands how to vote, it's really a joke, particularly since, I won't say your name, but I'll appeal to you directly, particularly since this country knows who you are first and foremost because of whom you married. And so stop pretending you're a feminist, you're for equality, you're for fairness to women, and then running around accusing us of checking with our husbands and our significant others before we vote.
Right.
I think that this is very representative of how angry and bitter
Yes.
and ungracious many have become in this country, frankly. And but you know what? Keep rolling the tape. So many Democrats just want her to stop, and I'm sure so many Republicans just want her to continue. By the way, it's reminiscent of September 9th, which I always told Mr. Trump, the candidate, was one of the worst days for Hillary Clinton because it's when she was revealed to have said basket of deplorables, irredeemable. She wasn't sorry she said that. She was sorry she got caught saying that.
Correct.
And the best evidence you have of that is what you just saw here. She's sorry she got caught saying that. She's insulting us all over again. And I think these red state Democrats are going to have a big, big problem, particularly defending that.
And I think that this is worse, actually, than a deplorable comment, in my opinion. And I think the other Democrats should really step up and separate themselves. But that would seem obvious. Real quick, when you look what happened in the Pennsylvania state election, and I know that these districts are going to be redrawn, but if Connor Lamb holds on and the absentee ballots don't go the other guy's direction, a lot of people are saying this is a brushback pitch for the president. Look out, the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for Republicans. What do you say for that?
I'll say a few things. First of all the polling that was being quoted showed a 5 or 6 point lead by Conor Lamb. The president obviously narrowed that gap. I would say a message to the well-paid consultants in this town to stop criticizing publicly, particularly Republican nominees. I don't know why they do that. I think that the Democratic Party really never does that, and people shouldn't do that if they could avoid it. And the other thing I would say is what I said in Pittsburgh in my personal capacity last week when I was there, which is I said, and it was quoted, so you can pull it up, every vote counts at the ballot box because every vote counts in Washington on Capitol Hill. And that will be true. We know the trends. The party in power at the White House suffers grievous losses in the midterm elections. Bill Clinton lost control of the House and Senate in 1994. President Barack Obama lost 63 House seats in 2010, the first midterm after his first election. Both of them were successfully reelected, but this president isn't looking at his reelection. He's looking at this. He's looking at this particular cycle. We know that, but we also know that Republicans, I assume they'll be running on tax cuts. So they're going to be bragging.
Well, Mike Huckabee, the former governor of Arkansas, agreed with Conway's sentiments, tweeting, Hillary goes to India and says Southern women voted the way their husbands told them to. So Hillary needs help. She may have lived a few years in the South, but ain't like no Southern woman I know, certainly not my wife or daughter, who wouldn't cotton to being told. That's what Governor Mike Huckabee held to the right? Yeah. Great tweet there. Hillary Clinton is the hypocrite of all hypocrites. She threatens women who were sexually victimized by her lecherous husband, and then she tries to position herself as God's gift to feminists. She attacks Trump for supposedly colluding with Russia to win the 2016 election, knowing full well that it was she who sold 20% of the United States uranium supply to Russia in exchange for $145 million to her Clinton Foundation, a hefty donation for her sham of a foundation. She accuses conservative American women for voting for Donald Trump to appease their husbands when every measure of her own success has been derived from her husband's achievements. That's true. She would have never been anywhere near the White House if it wasn't for Bill Clinton's presence. That's how Obama won in the beginning, you see. We could go on, but you get the idea. This woman is a real piece of work. The more she opens her mouth, the more we are reminded of all the reasons she lost the presidential election. Even as she continues to blame everyone under the sun instead of taking responsibility, if Hillary Clinton wants to know what happened, she'd need only look in a mirror. Absolutely. And look at her. Would you want this woman representing your country? First of all, she's sliding all over the place. You know, God's got a funny, what did they say, a sense of humor? God's got a funny sense of humor. I can say that is a perfect, as to, you know, it's not, but she deserves it. God has a funny sense of humor. That's why. Look at him. He's showing her and the people who she really is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.